sees those splendors of Vaikuntha, the happiness realized in Brahman at once seems empty, and as if from sheer embarrassment on its own, it disappears. So now one thing we should know, that abode of Krishna, dham of Krishna, is not different from Krishna. That means as Krishna has unlimited opulences and potencies, similarly dham also has unlimited potencies and opulences. This is one of the important teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that abode, dham of the Lord, is not different from Lord. So when we go to holy places like Vrindavan, abodes of the Lord, dham of the Lord, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, that means we are personally associating with Krishna, because dham is non different from Krishna. So like in Bhagavad Gita we see that in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, there is description of Krishna's opulences, and particularly in the 10th chapter. And Arjuna wanted to, you see in the beginning of 10th chapter, Arjuna expressed his desire, please explain to me your opulences. So in one of the purports in the beginning of 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, he says, he quotes this English statement, God is great. People say God is great, but they don't know how God is great. So unless we know the opulences of Krishna, we won't understand his greatness. What is that which is great in God? So basically his opulences and potencies. God can do so many superhuman activities which no human being can do. Why? Because he has unlimited potencies and opulences. Because of that, he can do. Why he is greater than all the living entities? Because he has unlimited potencies and opulences. So this is what makes God or Krishna special. And Krishna explains to Arjuna his opulences, and in the end he says that what is the need of all this explanation? And my opulences are unlimited, he says. Just by the splendor of the spark of my splendor, I maintain this entire creation, he says. So in the end, in the last purport of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes from Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary. Baldev Vidyabhushan is one of the great acharyas in Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he wrote commentaries on so many books. Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutra, he is considered as Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya, because he wrote commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, he concludes his own commentary on Bhagavad Gita by saying that Krishna, who has unlimited potencies, Ugra Tejasaha, he uses the word Ugra Tejasaha. Ugra Tejasa means unlimited powers and potencies. So that Krishna is worshipped in this 10th chapter, he says. So in this way, Krishna's opulences are unlimited, his potencies. Similarly, dham of the Lord, so dham's opulences and potencies are also unlimited. Now here in this section of Brhad Bhagavatamrta, we are reading about the opulences and so glories of Vaikuntha. So here in this particular verse, 52nd verse of the 4th chapter, when one sees those splendors of Vaikuntha, the happiness realized in Brahman at once seems empty. So that is the glory of this dham. Or in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita again, Krishna says that by knowing these opulences and mystic potencies of mind, one will engage in unalloyed devotional service. So 10th chapter, verse number 7. So Krishna says that. That means what happens in bhakti by knowing the opulences. So bhakti begins by knowing the opulences of Krishna, right? You want to worship, love someone who is very glorious, and so we should know his glories. And when we understand his glories, then what happens? Impersonal Brahman. So here Brahma, Brahmanubhave Sukham, this Brahmanubhave, happiness of Brahman. So among the three kinds of spiritualists, transcendentalists, so Jnanis, they are also called as Adhyatmavadis, transcendentalists. So they want to merge in impersonal Brahman. They are attracted to impersonal Brahman. But by knowing Krishna's glories and knowing the glories of Vaikuntha, one would not like to go to impersonal Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. So about bhakti it is told. I mentioned that bhakti begins with knowing the opulences of the Lord. About bhakti, Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he explains 6 characteristics. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha, Laguta, Krata, Sudurlabha, Sandrananda, Visheshatma, Shri Krishna, Karshani, Chasa. So these are 6 characteristics of bhakti, pure devotional service. Kleshagni, first one is Kleshagni. It burns all our karmic reactions. It acts like a fire, burns our kleshas, material miseries. Miseries are because of our karmic reactions. So Shubhada, it is all auspicious. So Moksha Laguta Krita makes even liberation insignificant. And one of the liberations is that merging in the impersonal Brahman, getting attracted to Brahma Jyoti, going to Brahma Jyoti, the destination of Brahma Jyoti. And it is very rarely attained, Sudurlabha, Sandrananda Visheshatma, it gives condensed happiness. Shri Krishna Akarshani Chasa, it is attractive to Krishna, it attracts Krishna. So these are 6 characteristics. One of the characteristics is what? Moksha Laguta Akrita. It makes liberation insignificant. So one aspect of that liberation is attaining Brahma Jyoti, or attraction to Brahma Jyoti, or happiness of merging, happiness of attaining Brahma Jyoti, that is called as Brahmananda. So here the word Brahma, Brahmanubhave Sukham. Brahmanubhave Sukham means happiness of realizing Brahma Jyoti, impersonal Brahman. That God is impersonal Brahman. Brahmanubhave Sukham, it is told. So this Brahmanubhave Sukham seems empty. It becomes insignificant. Tuchyatam. So there Rupa Goswami uses the word Laguta Kratam. Here Sanatana Goswami uses the word Tuchyatam. Sadyo Riyeva Virameta Swayam. So, and as if sheer embarrassment, one on its own, it disappears. So one is not attracted to Brahma Jyoti, happiness of Brahma Jyoti, happiness of Brahman realization. So Brahman realization means we should know all these technical terms, that as we go on making advancement, we realize that we are Brahman. Brahman means I am not this body, I am spirit soul, I am Atma. So Jnanis, those who are impersonalists, Nirakaravadis, so they believe that God is ultimately impersonal Brahman. So then when they understand that they are not this body, they think that they are God realized or self-realized. They think that. So self-realization is just beginning. I am not this body, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. It's just a beginning it is. But Krishna is Parabrahman. So just by knowing the opulences of Vaikuntha, what happens? We will not be attracted to go to Brahma Jyoti by attaining Brahman realization. So sheer embarrassment. Sutuchatam word is used. Sutuchatam. Tuchatam means just insignificant. And Sutuchatam means very insignificant. So like that. And Riyeva Viramet Swayam. Riyeva is word is used here. So Riyeva means embarrassment. Embarrass. What is embarrassment? So just like about material pleasure, there is one verse of Yamunacharya about material happiness. Or material happiness means sexual happiness. He feels embarrassed when he gets desire for material happiness. Yadavadimamachetah Krishna Padaravinde Navanavarasadhaman Udyatam Rantumasit Tadavadibata Nari Sangame Smaryamane Bhavati Mukha Vikara Sushtu Nishti Vinamcha. So he says, since Yad means since my mind is engaged, Mama Chitta, my heart, my mind, my consciousness is absorbed in Krishna service. Krishna Padaravinde, worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna, meditating and remembering lotus feet of Krishna. I am getting newer and newer and newer happiness. And when I think of associating with opposite sex women, so whenever thought for sex desire comes, then I spit on that thought, he says. Bhavati mukha vikara sustu nishti vinamcha, he says. So he feels embarrassed, or he feels like that. Riyeva virameta swayam. It simply disappears like the star. So we will read the commentary. So just like whether it is bhakti, whether it is Krishna's glories, or whether it is about Krishna's abode. So by appreciating that, by so hearing those things, we should feel that this material happiness, even happiness of liberation, as insignificant. So Rupa Goswami also, he says there actually, even if you multiply the happiness of Brahmananda, the happiness of Brahman realization, so our impersonal liberation, so it cannot equal with a drop of happiness of Krishna consciousness or Krishna bhakti. So that is a point. Commentary. After a purified Vaishnava has realized the glories of Vaikuntha and its inhabitants, the prospect of impersonal realization loses all attraction. It simply disappears like the stars at dawn. So after a purified Vaishnava has realized the glories of Vaikuntha, its inhabitants, the prospect of impersonal loses all attraction. Simply disappears like the stars at dawn. So stars at dawn. This analogy has to be understood. For the disappearance of the stars, sun doesn't have to fully manifest. Sunlight doesn't have to fully manifest. Like sunlight covers all the vision of stars, right? So just dawn only disappears. So that is the greatness of sun. Similarly, greatness of Krishna or Vaikuntha is that. So even in the beginning appreciation of the glories of Krishna, So one will lose attraction for impersonal liberation. Okay, text 53 and 54 together. Svaramah purna kamaye sarvapeksha vivarjitaha jnatam praptam nijam kritsnam tyaktva vaishnava sangataha sara vicharaptya bhakti margam vishanti yat taddetus yatena nubhuto dhardhyatho maya. Those who are self-satisfied, fulfilled in all desires, and free of all material concerns, who have renounced everything they know and possess, who have associated with Vaishnavas, and have thus acquired the power to discern between the essential and the non-essential, it is they who enter the path of devotional service. When I went to Vaikuntha, that is what I vividly saw. Now here, eligibility to enter into devotional service is discussed. Again quoting Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Prabhupada has translated it as the nectar of devotion. We see in the third chapter of that nectar of devotion, there is a title is the eligibility for pure devotional service. Eligibility of the candidate for pure devotional service. So that is the title. So what is the eligibility for pure devotional service? So there, in a concise way, Rupa Goswami, he explains that one should not be too much attached to material sense enjoyment, and one should not be too much detached also. And one should have faith. Faith means attraction for service to Krishna. That is the eligibility for pure devotional service. Why one should be fully not detached? If one is fully detached without attraction for Krishna, basically, then one may become a jnani, jnana bija. He may develop. Like jnanis means they are very renounced, very austere, ascetic. Self-abnegation is their important part of their practice. Then the karmis means karma bija. Sense enjoyers means they want lots of material and they are attached to material sense gratification. So then central thing is that one should have faith in devotional service. Faith in devotional service means basically attraction for devotional service. One should be attracted to devotional service. That is the main thing. So that is the Swarupa Lakshana. Then the Tatastha Lakshana is that at least some detachment from sense enjoyment should be there. To put it in a proper way, I told too much detachment, too much attachment should not be there, means we should have at least some detachment from material sense enjoyment. For example, in the beginning, at least we should have detachment to follow 4 regulative principles. Then only we will be able to do devotional service. Otherwise we can't. We will become sense enjoyers, materialistic. Then if we are too detached only into austerity without attraction for Krishna, then that also is not helpful in bhakti, in devotional service. So that is eligibility for accepting pure devotional service. Of course, Rupa Goswami also quoted that verse from Bhagavad Gita, Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. That one should be Brahma bhuta, means one should be already self-realized. Already one should realize that one is not this body, and Atma, one is Atma. So then one can understand, one can attain pure devotional service. One should not lament, one should not hanker for material objects. Mad bhakti labate param. Such a person, and he should see all the living entities with equal vision. So such a person can attain pure devotional service. Mad bhakti labate param. Krishna. So Krishna says. So that verse gives the eligibility for pure devotional service. Then what about us? We are not even, we have not yet realized. We may have heard that we are not this body, we are, but we are not self-realized. We are, means I mean to self-realize means one should feel indifference to the body. I have nothing to do with this material body. Every day, he should feel like that. That experience of indifference to body and bodily activities. One should not be interested in eating, sleeping, mating, sex, all these things. So that is Brahma Bhuta stage. So, but we are not, that means we are not pure devotee, we are not engaged in pure devotional service, we don't have eligibility for pure devotional service. So Rupa Goswami says, as we go on doing devotional service to Krishna, automatically that Brahma Bhuta stage will pass through. We will attain. We don't have to separately endeavor for Brahma Bhuta stage. Anyway, that is a eligibility which is discussed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then here Gopakumara himself, these verses are spoken by Gopakumara himself to his student. So he gives the description of what is the eligibility for entering into devotional service. Those who are self-satisfied. Krishna said that, na kangshati. Na kangshati means one doesn't hanker for anything in this material world. He is self-satisfied. Atma Rama. So here Swarama word is used. Swarama or Atma Rama. That is the first thing. Purna Kamaye, fulfilled in all desires. So Purna Kama, he is fulfilled. So he doesn't have, it's the same thing in a positive way it is told. Sarva Peksha Vivarjitaha, free from all material concerns. So Sarva Peksha Vivarjitaha. These things are discussed in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Bhakti Yoga, right? So Sarva Peksha, there the word Nirapeksha word comes there. So Sarva Peksha Vivarjitaha, renounced. So free from all material concerns. Material concerns means what? What is material? What concerns means? Oh, so many people are not getting food. I have to supply food to them. Like nowadays it is popular among the devotees also, distributing food. There is in some center of ISKCON, there is so they are promoting it very heavily. We are giving food to nutrition to the pregnant woman. Give us money. We are distributing food to so many people, needy people, this, that, so many things like that. These are not concerns of the devotee at all. Sarva Peksha Vivarjitaha, Jnatam Praptam Nijam Krasna. Of course, devotees, that doesn't mean they are indifferent to, but devotees, their social service is establishing Varnashram Dharma. So, social service, because Krishna comes to establish Varnashram Dharma. And Acharyas, it is a mission of Acharyas also, Krishna also. So that is social service. And if you establish Varnashram Dharma, all these petty things, pregnant woman is not getting nutrition, newborn child is not getting nutrition, and old people are not getting shelter. All kinds of problems in this world will be at one stroke they will be solved. Because Varnashrama system is Krishna's solution to world problems. So instead of trying to follow Krishna and establishing Krishna's mission, if you try to do something else, then what we are doing, we are trying to become God actually. We are trying to become Krishna actually. That is atheism. So in the name of bhakti, we will become atheists actually. We will become rascals actually. Because all these politicians, everyone, all demons actually they are. So they advertise that, I am your well-wisher, I am the well-wisher of all the citizens of the nation. Actually, they are demons actually. They are not well-wishers because they are not Naradeva. Naradeva means this word comes in Bhagavad Gita also, right? Naranam, that was. So among the Naras I am Narapati. So I am king, he says. So king is supposed to be a representative of Krishna actually. So he should do what, he should rule the world, rule the nation according to Krishna's plan. So these demons, they are trying to take the position of Krishna, trying to become well-wishers of the citizens. So if we don't follow Krishna's system of social service and we try to ourselves want to become so-called well-wishers of the citizen, that means we are trying to become Krishna. So this is atheism. We will also go to hell and we will send those people whom we are serving also hell, because they will forget Krishna, real God, real well-wisher, real maintainer of all the living entities, and they think that some rascal demon as maintainer or well-wisher. And in fact, they will develop envy for Krishna. What Krishna has done for me, what God has done for me. This living so-called rascal God is doing everything for me, like that they think. So in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained that this philanthropy and humanity, altruism leads one to hell, he said. So anyway, we are not concerned with sarvapeksha vivarjitaha. So if we are concerned, we have to do what Krishna wanted us to do, basically. Jnatam praptam nijam krasnam. So who are very renounced everything they know and possess. Jnatam praptam nijam krasnam, like that. So basically jnatam krishnam, vivarjitaha jnatam praptam, yes, that is the meaning. So we renounce all our possessions. Renounce means we give it to Krishna, surrender it to Krishna. So just like that Atma Nivedanam is there, self-surrender. So you can see all these qualities eligibilities are discussed actually. They comply with full surrender to Krishna. So one gives up all the so-called impersonal knowledge, and he gives up whatever possessions are there. Then who have associated with Vaishnavas and have thus acquired the power to discern between essential and the non-essential. So nijam krasnam tyaktva Vaishnava sangataha. So Vaishnava sangata means associated with Vaishnavas. So sadhu sangha is also a very important part, because without that we will not get bhakti. Krishna bhakti moolahaya sadhu sangha Krishna prema janmiyo theho puna mukhya anga. So the root of Krishna bhakti is association with sadhus. Sadhu means devotees, pure devotees. And even after attaining Krishna prema, that remains an important limb of bhakti. Okay, even after attaining pure Krishna prema, that limb of associating with pure devotees always remains important. So Vaishnava Sangataha. So then Sara Sara Vicharaptya. So that one, he knows what is essential and what is not essential. Or in that you see, Anukulasya Sankalpo Pratikulasya Varjanam. Oh Krishna, I have to. Sorry. Okay, so I'll repeat it because I had not unmuted. Coming back to that, after attaining pure Krishna prema also, that limb of bhakti that we have to associate with pure devotees is always remains important. So that is Vaishnava Sangataha. Then Sara Sara Vicharaptya. One knows essential and non-essential. That means we know that in bhakti, in the process of surrender also, Anukulasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Varjana. What is essential, what is not essential. We should have this philosophical intelligence, we should have spiritual intelligence to understand what is required for me, what is not required. Otherwise, in ignorance, even after coming to bhakti also, we don't know what to do. So that's why we should hear, read, study Shastra. Because we don't understand. We think that some 30,000-40,000 rupees iPhone is more important. It is essential for me. Instead of getting away with some 1,000 or 1,500 rupees worth, some small phone. So we should know, devotees should know. That is, otherwise we'll end up losing bhakti actually, or we'll become eligible to enter into pure bhakti. Okay. Coming back to Sara Sara Vicharaptya Bhakti Margam Vishantiyat. So Vishanti means entering. So Vishanti, Bhakti Margam Vishantiyat. Tad detus tatra yathena na bhuto dhardyato maya. So this eligibility of bhakti, so Gopakumara is connecting that with Vaikuntha actually. He says, when I went to Vaikuntha, that is what I vividly saw. So basically, in essence, what he wants to say, those who are in Vaikuntha, they were highest Paramahamsas. That is the point which Gopakumara wants to make here. Because the result of all this, these qualifications which he described is that one should become Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means this word is misused in India. All rascal third class fellows are taking the name of Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means pure devotee of Krishna. So he essentially understood that those who were in Vaikuntha, they were all pure devotees. They were all Paramahamsas of highest order. Even though Gopakumara student has been told that only direct perception can give him true understanding of the nature of Vaikuntha, he may still be anxious to have some other means to gain the special faith that the discipline of Bhakti Yoga demands. So here one point is made in the commentary that previously it is said that only when you go directly and see there, then only you can appreciate the glories of Vaikuntha. Ultimately. Like sometimes people ask questions about, Goloka Vrindavan. People ask about Vaikuntha. Prabhupada once, one disciple, he was again and again asking such questions. Then Prabhupada said, you will know all these things after going there, he said. So that is what is said in Brhad Bhagavatamrta also. So direct perception. After going to direct, seeing there only you will understand the glories of Vaikuntha. It cannot be it's like, as I mentioned, that Vaikuntha is not different from Krishna, Vishnu. So the glories are unlimited. Words cannot ultimately, completely, explain the glories of Vaikuntha. If mundane words or material words or human words can explain all the glories of Vaikuntha, then Vaikuntha is not perfect. It is defective. It is, or Krishna is not perfect. So it is defective. So therefore, if you want to know, here just glimpses. Like I'm doing these classes, so I told devotees who are recording to give the title Glimpses of Vaikuntha. So these are just glimpses. We can't ultimately appreciate the glories of Vaikuntha. Just in words we cannot explain. It's unlimited. But one way to understand, appreciate Vaikuntha is through the process of pure devotional service. So that is what is mentioned here. Anticipating this anxiety, Gopakumara here describes the logic by which one can know theoretically the supreme excellent happiness of Vaikuntha. Advanced mystics who have realized the supreme truth in its impersonal aspect sometimes abandon the happiness of Brahman for the opportunity to realize Vaikuntha. They leave aside both their knowledge and their perfectly developed realization to enter the path of devotional service. Once they experience the bliss of Vaikuntha life, they condemn what they formerly considered happiness in impersonal realization. This is evidence of the wonder of Vaikuntha. Okay, text number 55. Gacchada gacchato hamtan pashyannidam achinthayan idrishah sevakayasya sa prabhurnama kidrishaha. As I watched those persons come and go, I thought, what kind of Lord must it be who has such servants? Now Gopakumara is at the entrance of Vaikuntha, and he is made to wait there by Vaikuntha Vasis, who carried him from Govardhan here, from Bhauma Vrindavan. So previously it was discussed, those who don't know, I'll just briefly explain. So Gopakumara was carried by Vaikuntha Vasis, or you can call them Vaikuntha Dutas, so, or Vishnu Dutas. So was carried Gopakumara in a special aeroplane to Vaikuntha from Bhauma Vrindavan, Govardhan area. And they made him to wait at the entrance of Vaikuntha. They didn't immediately take him inside. So one reason is to make him appreciate the glories of. So he is standing and he is seeing people coming in and out of Vaikuntha. So they are going out means they are going out on a mission of Lord, with some purpose. So just by seeing, he is from the outside only, he is appreciating the glories of Vaikuntha here. So then he says, I watched those persons come and go. I thought, what kind of Lord must it be who has such servants? So one thing is to appreciate he should appreciate the glories of Vaikuntha. Another thing is he should develop hankering for seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu there. After seeing such beautiful and opulent servants of Lord Narayana come and go through the gateway of Vaikuntha, Gopakumara could not help but imagine how beautiful and opulent must be Lord Narayana himself. Certainly a proper master should be superior in all respects to his servants. So one of the opulences of, or the main opulence of Lord Vaikuntha, or Lord of Vaikuntha, is his devotees. So are the member residents of Vaikuntha. So they are the opulence. And previously we saw there, the devotees opulence, Vaikuntha Vasi, opulences of the Vaikuntha Vasis there. So by knowing the glories of the persons who are attending that great personality, we will know the glories of that great personality. So there is English term, no? Entourage. I don't know the proper pronunciation maybe. So entourage means persons attending the great personality or associates of the great personality. So by knowing their glories, their opulences and powers, mystic powers, we can know the glory of that person, great personality. So in that way, Gopakumara is trying to understand the glories of Vaikuntha. Text 56 and 57. Itam harsha prakarshenoth Tishtan upavishan brasham Gopure vartamanoham Terjave naitya parshadae Antaha praveshamano yad Drishtaman adbhutadbhutam Vaktum tadviparardhena Sahasrasyopi nakshamaha. Thus I thrilled with delight as I waited in the gateway to Vaikuntha. So it was thrilling for Gopakumara to understand the glories of Vaikuntha and the Lord of the Vaikuntha. I excitedly stood up and sat down. I'll just read this translation. I excitedly stood up and sat down. Stood up and sat down. Again and again it is said. Till the associates of the Lord returned, rushing back and escorted me inside. The amazing things I then saw, more wonderful than wonderful, even the 1,000-headed Ananta Shesha would be unable to describe, even in a lifetime of Brahma. So first thing is that he was thrilled with delight as I waited in the gateway to Vaikuntha. So you see, when we go to see some great personality in this world, and if we are made to wait, we don't feel, we may feel bored actually. We may feel bored, we may feel neglected if we are made to wait there. And it may be disgusting for us. But here Gopakumara, when he was made to wait there at the door of Vaikuntha, then he was thrilled by the opulences, by seeing the opulences and mystic powers of those Vaikuntha Vasis going in and out of Vaikuntha Dwara. So he was thrilled. So thrilled with, here the words are used in Sanskrit are harsha prakarshenot. So uttishtan, pravishan, brashan excitedly. So what happens is, sometime he would sit down, sometime he would stand up. Sometimes sit down, sometimes stand up. And it's like out of wonder also there is that one ecstasy in Bhava Bhakti. So as soon as he sees that some Vaikuntha Vasis are coming towards the door, he would get up. Then again he would sit down. Then again he would get up. Just by seeing them, he is feeling so respectful to them, so much he is, because they are so glorious. So they are so glorious, and because of their seeing their opulences, their mystic potencies, So he is sitting up, down, again and again, but he is very happy also. Now, one thing is to make us understand here what is the, how opulent is, Vaikuntha. Later, the contrast will be made in relation with Vrindavan, the sweetness of Goloka Vrindavan. There, you will not see such opulences there. So everything is very spontaneous, everything is very natural, everything is very simple, but very highly sweet it is. More sweeter than Vaikuntha. More happiness. Gopakumara will get more happiness there. But here now, basically, Aishwarya of the Lord is discussed. So I excitedly stood up and sat down, till the associates of the Lord returned. So those associates of the Lord, they, our Prabhuji here also is sitting up and down by hearing the glories of the Vaikuntha. I excitedly stood up and sat down. Anyway, what I was telling her, that the Vaikuntha, till the associates of the Lord returned. So the Vaikuntha Vasis who had carried Gopakumara to Vaikuntha, they had made him to wait there, and they went inside, and now again they came back. Rushing back and escorted me inside. They took him inside. The amazing things I saw. Till now, his appreciation of the glories of Vaikuntha is only from the periphery, from outside Vaikuntha. Now he is really entering there. He entered there. Amazing things I saw, more wonderful than wonderful. So, drashtavan adbhutam, the word is used here in Sanskrit. Actually, this Brhad Bhagavatamrta Sanskrit is very sweet and very simple, but very sweet. Drashtavan adbhutam vaktum tad dvi parardhena. So here word the parardha is used. The amazing things I then saw. So more wonderful than wonderful. Even the 1,000-headed Ananta Shesha would be unable to describe even in a lifetime of Brahma. So dvi parardhena. Parardha means 1 day of so 50 days. 50 years. Yeah. So Parardha is 50 years of Brahma. You all know what is a lifetime of Brahma. You must be knowing. If you all don't know, you can read Bhagavad Gita as it is. You will come to know 9th chapter and 8th chapter. So 8.17 to 19 and 9.7 or 8, right? There.
100 days
So,
Brahma is 1.34 trillion.
Yes. Lifetime of Brahma is called as Dviparardha, and half of his life is called as Parardha. So even if one has lifetime of Brahma and has thousands of heads like Ananta Shesha, cannot describe the glories of Vaikuntha. So it's unlimited. Just now we had discussed on this. So human words, mundane words cannot ultimately fully describe the glories of Vaikuntha. So one reason in the Shastra these things are discussed, like in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, he said, Na tad bhasayate suryana sashanko na pavaka yadgatva na nivartante tad dhama pramam mama. My supreme abode is not illuminated by sun, moon or electricity, and having gone there, one will not return back. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says that by hearing these descriptions, one should be attracted, he says. So by hearing these glories of Vaikuntha, we should be attracted to Vaikuntha. So the escorts who had gone inside the city to announce Gopakumara's arrival now came running back because their lord did not want him to have to wait outside any longer. So here the word rushed back is used. So the Sanskrit word is word is used javena yetya. So yetya means coming, javena means very quickly. So javena yetya, very quickly they came back because Lord said, why you are making him to wait there? Bring him back quickly. Bring him back quickly. So like that. Wait outside. And as soon as Gopakumara entered the actual realm of Vaikuntha, he saw more wonders than he could ever describe to a conditioned soul. His student would have to be satisfied with a brief outline of this experience. So the adbhutam, drashtavan adbhutam. So the wonderful glories of Vaikuntha. So now he is just giving a glimpse of it to his student Gopakumara. He is telling these glories of Vaikuntha. Text 58. Dvare dvare dvarapalas tadrasha eva mam gatam praveshayanti vidnyapya vidnyapeva nijatipam. I arrived at several more gates, one after another, and at each I was met by similar doorkeepers, who allowed me to enter only after announcing my arrival to their immediate superiors. So he was at the last gate of Vaikuntha, or from our side it was the first gate. So and as he entered, so he had to pass through many more similar gates and doorkeepers. And they allowed him to go inside because it was already announced that he is going to come. So he was permission was granted. So text 59 to 60. These things, so many gates, doorkeepers, permission to enter there, these all increase the glory of, these are all opulences of Lord Vaikuntha. Lord, he is not so easily approachable. So that is what the indication here. Pratidvarantare ghatva tat pratiharibihi pranamyamano yo hi tad pradeshadikaravan drashyate sasamanneta jagadisho mayakila purvavat sambramaveshan namyate stuyate muhu. As I entered each gate, I saw the guards offer obeisances to the local superintendent. So I assumed that he was the Lord of the universe. So one thing there is, because all these residents of Vaikuntha, they also have opulences like Vaikuntha. One of the, liberations. One of the mukti is srashti. Srashti means to attain the opulences of the Lord. So, and everyone looks like Lord Vaikuntha. And these doorkeepers who were offering respect to obeisances to the superintendent there. So Gopakumara felt that, this is Lord Vaikuntha, or Lord of Vaikuntha. So I assumed that he was the Lord of the universe. Overwhelmed with reverence, just as before, I repeatedly bowed down and recited prayers. So Gopakumara was offering obeisances to everyone, offering prayers to everyone, thinking that it is Vaikuntha, Lord Vaikuntha. Gopakumara was so eager to see the Lord that he mistook the Lord's glorious devotees for the Lord himself. As Gopakumara passed through each gateway with his escorts, they were met by the local manager, whose relatively greater opulence astonished him. He was becoming more and more eager to see Lord Narayana. So we are discussing his hankering is increasing by that way. Atatai parshadhay snigdhair asadharana lakshanam prabhur vidyapito hamcha shikshithastavanadikam. Finally, the Supreme Lord's compassionate men who were guiding me told me the special signs by which to recognize the Lord. So, compassionate here. Snigdha word is used. Signa means very affectionate. Rupa Goswami, he said that we should associate with advanced devotees, and those advanced devotees should be sajatiya snigdha ja. So they should be sajatiya of the same, what you say, sajati. They should be of same, I'm not getting that. They should also have the same goal of life, just to tell you in a simple way. So sajati means like those, they also should be devotees of Krishna. Sajatiyas, they should be of the same nature and goal, like that. Then snigdha means they should be affectionate. That is one. So here that is said as compassionate. Finally, the Supreme Lord's compassionate men who were guiding me told me the special signs by which to recognize the Lord. What is difference between Vaikuntha Vasis and Lord Vaikuntha there? So very few, not much differences are there. So just like this Srivatsa is there, that is one thing which is different. They also taught me that what prayers to recite and what etiquette to observe. Here you can see that Aishwarya Mishra Bhakti. So the Aishwarya Mishra Bhakti, we can see here. So you need to offer particular prayers only. Just like in the Vedas, this Purusha Sukta is very famous. So worship of Lord Vaikuntha should be done only with the Purusha Sukta. So like that, there are particular prayers which are to be recited. So and what etiquette to observe. So everything is regulated there. It's not like Vaikuntha, like you can jump on Lord, or you can go and embrace the Lord. Here also we see that Gopakumara tries to go and embrace the Lord. Gopakumara's escorts informed him of the unique visible signs of Lord Narayana, like Srivatsa mark on his chest. Apart from these few special features, the Lord in Vaikuntha is indistinguishable from his devotee who show the perfection of Sarupya. Out of genuine sympathy for Gopakumara, his guides taught him how to behave in front of Lord Narayana. First to bow down, then stand some distance aside, palms joined, look down at the Lord's lotus feet, refrain from moving or displaying bodily transformations, and so on. So these are Bhakti in Aishwarya Bhava descriptions, how you have to do like that. In Raga Marga, it is different. It's just go and embrace Krishna or maybe jump on him like that. Okay, next, text 62 to 63. Maha Chitra Vichitra Geha Dvara Pradeshanati Ghamya Vedat Shriman Mahalla Pravarasya Madde Prasada Varghe Parisevitangrim Prasadamekam Vividair Mahatta Purair Vishishtam Parasimayathe Prapto Hamaditya Sudham Shukoti Kantim Manolochana Vrat. Passed rapidly through many districts, wonderfully splendid. Many districts. Here in material world we have our districts, right or not, on the earth. So in different states there are districts are there. So they may be more bigger than this actually, and Gopakumara passed through them rapidly because the speed of the soul is faster than speed of mind actually. I passed rapidly through many districts, wonderfully splendid with all kinds of houses and gates. And then I entered the most excellent transcendental neighborhood. Mahalla word is they use mahalla. Sanskrit word it is.
Means great.
Mahalla. This word is what is that word? Hindi word? Yeah, mohalla. In Sanskrit it is mahalla, and in Hindi and Urdu it is mohalla. Mohalla means some place where. So neighborhood in English, that term is there. Some area where residential area is called mahalla. With all kinds. Okay, I came to there I came to one palace at whose feet many others stood in attendance. A palace distinct, overflowing in greatness, where excellence seemed to reach its highest limit. Radiant like millions of suns and moons, it captured my mind and my eyes. So, within Vaikuntha, the actual abode of the Lord is being discussed. Smaller palaces on all sides faced that grand one, like servants surrounding their master. That palace, diverse in effulgence, like millions of suns and moons, lured Gopakumara's eyes and mind into captivity, enslaving their functions in reverence to the Lord's opulence. Okay, text 65 and 64 and 65, sorry. Tadantare ratnavaravali lasat suvarna simhasana rajamurdani sujata kanthamala satuliko pari prasanna krasha chandra sundaram mrudhupadhanam nijavamakanksha kapo nikramya sukopa vishtam Vaikuntanatham Bhagavatamrta apashyamagre navayauvanesham. Within that palace I saw before me at a distance the personality of God and Lord of Vaikuntha. He sat at leisure on the best of royal thrones, a golden throne shimmering with the glow of many jewels. The cushion on which he sat was of swan white cotton, fine, attractive, spotlessly clean, and the soft, handsome bolster on which he leaned, his left elbow and upper arm appeared like the full moon cleansed of its spots. He was presiding lord of blossoming youth. So, here Lord's glories are being discussed. So one example is here actually. Upper arm appeared like the full moon cleansed of its spots. So sometimes poets have compared Lord to moon. But sometimes they feel unhappy with that. Why? Because ultimately moon is not fully represent Krishna or Lord. So because there are spots on the moon. So like we see that in Chaitanya Bhagavat, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat on the bank of Ganga and on the bank of Ganga, and he was teaching to his students. So that scene is described by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavata. So he says that this scene cannot be compared with a moon surrounded by stars. It cannot be compared with so Brahaspati surrounded by demigods. So all of them, they have defects actually. And he says that this can be only compared with Krishna when he sat on the bank of Yamuna with his covered boyfriends to do Vana Bhojana. You all understand, Vana Bhojana means so eating food in that special practice of eating food in the forest. Then like this. So here comparison with the moon is made, but cleansed of its spots, like that. Okay. Since the entrance hall of Lord Narayana's palace stretched a long way, Gopakumara's first glimpse of Lord was from a distance, but there the Lord was sitting happily right in front of him on a throne which cushions white as a full moon washed of its spots. Although he is original person, he seemed ageless, as if in the prime of youth. He displays his opulences, however, he chooses, and so he forever displays a youthful beauty that is among the most attractive of his opulences. Okay, so we will stop here. We have few minutes for questions. Those who want to ask questions, they can ask questions. Those who want to ask question from distance, how they will ask? You have to.
They can unmute themselves. Yeah.
They can unmute themselves?
Yeah.
Because if the host has.
This has to that feature actually, they can unmute themselves and talk. 50 years of Brahma is 155.5 trillion years of Earth. 155.5.
So Bhaktavatsal Prabhu is giving us the calculation of Brahma's 50 years, 1.55 trillion years, Earth years. So anything else? Any comments, questions?
Bhagavatam Tika, is it called Digdarshini Tika? Which Vyasa wrote.
Can we call Srimad Bhagavatam as Digdarshini Tika of what?
Of Vedanta Sutra.
Of Vedanta Sutra. Yeah, we can say like that. Because means Digdarshani, the meaning of Digdarshani is that Dik, Dik means direction. Darshani means revealing. So after writing the book, the author reveals how to understand this, what he intends by that. So that is called as Digdarshani Tika. So definitely we can say that Bhagavatam is the Digdarshani Tika of Vedanta Sutra by the same author. So Vedanta Sutra should be understood based on Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you take like that, apart from Gaudiyas, no one understands Vedanta Sutra. Of course, others also study Srimad Bhagavatam, but ultimately they don't understand Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, which is actually central point of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is called as Paribhasha Sutra. Okay, we had somebody else question from far distant. Hare Krishna.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
I have a question. This Gopakumara story actually it happened really, or just it was imagined? I heard that it was imagined and written.
No, it is not imagination. Why? Because this Brhad Bhagavatamrta was spoken by Jaimini. Meeting over.
But this hotel has done that as well. Mm, 50, 40. Now, why can't you go to Google Meet? And then
They give 60 minutes. They have changed recently.
Google Meet. How come?
Something I read in newspaper. Okay, coming back to our question, whether this story of Gopakumara is imagination, this question is, it's connected with Brhad Bhagavatamrta, whether Brhad Bhagavatamrta is imagination. So because Gopakumara story is one of the stories of Brhad Bhagavatamrta, right? The question is, should be whether it is written by imagination. It's an imaginary story. Sanatana Goswami himself doesn't mention like that in Brhad Bhagavatamrta, that I am imagining and writing something like that. So originally Brhad Bhagavatamrta book was spoken by Jaimini to King Janmejaya. Just like Janmejaya was hearing Mahabharata from Vaishampayana. Before hearing Mahabharata from Vaishampayana, Janmejaya had heard Mahabharata from Jaimini. And again he heard, after hearing Vaishampayana's Mahabharata, he heard again Brhad Bhagavatamrta, which is actually Srimad Bhagavatam in concise. So he heard it from Jaimini. And Jaimini himself heard it from Parikshit Maharaj speaking to Uttara. So just before, after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, before he left his body, that Takshaka snake came and bit Parikshit Maharaj. Just before that, Parikshit Maharaj spoke the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of Brhad Bhagavatamrta to his mother Uttara. And that book is, so it was revealed by Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami gave it to us. So that is the history of Brhad Bhagavatamrta. It is not imagination, it is actual.
So what you said, Jaimini?
Actual history. Okay?
You said Jaimini.
Yeah, tell me.
But we see that in Bhagavatam there is no any description about Gopakumaras, but when we come to Brhad Bhagavatam, suddenly it was changed. That's why I was confused.
No, this Brhad Bhagavatamrta was spoken after Srimad Bhagavatam, no? So why you expect that it should be described in Brhad Bhagavatamrta? Sorry, in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, you mean to say the storyline, you are saying that it is like that you are saying. Okay, now I understood your question. Elaborate. So the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj by using allegory of Gopakumara, like that you are saying. One thing is that we don't hear like that, that it is allegory, unless it is mentioned that it is allegory. Like that, we see in fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see Narad Muni spoke to Prachina Barishat. He told the allegory of Puranjana. So he told that it is an allegory. It is mentioned that it is an allegory. So unless it is mentioned, we should not take it like that. We should take it as a we should take it as it is, means as a history. So how that happened? So because Sanatan Goswami doesn't mention like that, so at least you see, my conviction for understanding it like that is because the first part, Narad Muni is going to different devotees and discussing that. From that we can understand that. So even Gopakumara's story is also actual history, it is. So Narad Muni, why we are Sanatan Goswami is not concocting or imagining some story of Narad Muni actually and Gopakumara, right? It's very simple. So therefore, it is actual history, but this history gives the essence of this incident of Gopakumara traveling to holy places and Narad Muni going to different devotees gives the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, so we call it as essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, not just because the story is not mentioned in it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Based on that, we don't say like that. So the essence of Bhagavata philosophy basically is represented in these pastimes of Narada Muni and Gopakumara. Therefore, we accept that it's an actual history. It is not a. It is not actually. And in many places in Brhad Bhagavatam, it comes that I am repeating you the historical narration. This historical narration, what happened like that in the past. So unless it is mentioned that it is a story, we should not think it as story. So we have to take it as it is. Okay.
What if it is a Jaimini? Is actually impersonalist now. Is not a Vaishnava. Then how come he heard Bhagavatam? He told Bhagavatam.
So here the question is, Jaimini is considered as impersonalist, or sometime he is considered as atheistic. So generally we should this Karma Mimamsa, because he is the founder of Karma Mimamsa, therefore he is considered as atheistic. Actually, Jaimini himself is not atheistic. Actually, his philosophy may be atheistic. Just like we say Buddha is avatar of God. So Buddha is avatar of Krishna. Buddha himself is not atheist actually, but Buddhist philosophy is atheistic. So sometime it may happen like that. So in fact, Janamejaya, he glorifies Jaimini, saying that your narration of Mahabharata was more devotional than Vaishampayana's narration, he says. So he glorifies him. That is discussed in Brhad Bhagavatam in the beginning. Brhad Bhagavatamrta in the beginning. So in the beginning, Sanatan Goswami says that. So Janmejaya glorified Jaimini, saying that his narration of Mahabharata was more devotional.